here, so they'll be coming quite close. They need to be rather careful. On the opposing side, Vanir, they'll be slowly but surely working their way down, looking onwards of this, seeing if there's any weak spots, see if there's any prime time to maybe attack them, while they were slap bang pretty much home turf with the circle.
Yeah.
I feel like their highs are really high. Oh, wait. Instant pull up? That's kind of scary. They're all just committed to the course. 2 players upstairs. 2 already down. A couple of good nades, and it'll be a third. There it is. Push on the Nox, boys. You can't lose this one. He's actually laid a landmine on the stairs. Salik has fallen for it, and they're all dead.
And hey, if we were going to say that SMB might have been slightly undergeared because of that early rotation, they're going to be so happy now getting that little upgrade. I say little, it's a lot of an upgrade. You get a whole bunch of loot coming through. So comfy and incredibly well handled. That was actually pretty perfect. Now, for them, that's going to be a nice little, I guess, alert giving out to the rest of the lobby of, well, we're here and we don't really feel the need to move. Shot and a half from T-Bone. Can't quite find the final one. There it is. Gets aim all down. But again, Heroic, this is a battle as far away as you can get. We're in Georgia Pole and the circle's over near Lipovka. So again, I feel it feels almost redundant to constantly praise Heroic for their kills when there isn't that next phase. But it's not meant as a disrespect to them. It's just like, I need to see that next layer because, God, if they could marry and couple that ability into converting it to more wins, they would be, I'd say they'd be well and truly up there in top 3 constantly. They just haven't been able to do it yet. Now, outside of that, we have to look at who's kind of in the circle, who's gone where. Now, Liquid and VP leaving around the same time. Liquid have gone a little closer towards SMB way, a little closer towards Vanir. As you can see, here we go. So you can see where they're at. People barely touched the things. Yeah, there was the update that kind of gave them a little more gusto, but as I said, go watch the early seasons. People are constantly changing and evolving how they play once they've worked out, oh, this is actually really viable. Oh, this team's looking really good with it. So we'll see. Again, for now, though, we have to keep our eyes on it. And there aren't too many risky plays just yet. This is still one of those where there's enough land in play where it should be just fine. However, if this does hard shift, rather than it being maybe halved, you get a quarter playable because of the amount of water in this. So it could get real sketchy real fast.
We'll see if we get a cruel circle or not. Nope, it plops us directly over land. This is comfortable. This is good. SMB will be hopefully regrouping with the rest of the roster and taking full control of Mansion. You've got Vanir, who's going to come down. You've got all these teams for the northern portion. They'll have to swing into the center. Heaven's gone. Liquid will secure that. The 2-2 split actually massively pays off for Liquid. You look at them regrouping. I like that. There's quite a lot of teams that have done this, and you'll see the same for NaVi. They'll be regrouping with the rest of the roster, and this is just fanning out, putting your pieces on the board in a hope that you get at least one of them hitting towards the side of the circle. FaZe will see a couple of people in transition. This is going to be QM recent winners. Cars flip. NaVi's downstairs as well. Beamy, first contact for him. Up towards the top. Mover will be the first player to fall on the side of it. Artix follows up also. Not having the best of times. QM's fallen. Oh no, the vehicle's bounced. The nades there as well. He's half damaged. Fate's inside.
Lucky boy.
Hasn't gone enough with Fex also on the Balti, by the way. That's a headache and a half for one of the NaVi players. NaVi cut off from the rest of the pack, and it's Mellman to try and hold off all of QM. And I tell you what, FaZe is going to be loving this. These two teams clashing head. They'll be above it all.
Exactly, they can pick away at it. This is when you bring out those SLRs, the minis, and you just tap away, have a great time, apply that pressure a little further. There it is. Gustav's going to do that towards a doozy. And it just puts you in such a bad position. You have to either push in towards Mellman potentially, or sit there and prone and hope they don't see you, or then completely beholden to the opposition. Gustav going to just post down a couple of nades. Did that just go in the door? It did. Fate had to leave again. These unticked nades are basically Fate's saving grace. A doozy. Barely any HP left as he has been already knocked, and Mellman is just sitting and waiting. Bated breath. Alya finally comes over, gets a little bit of help done towards one. Lovely control as well on the follow-up. Alya, lovely shot set. Now, NaVi have managed to keep all 4 standing. Question mark on the other side are eliminated pretty much in first place. So again, the curse holds from first to last pretty much. We know it. We're aware of it. in FaZe. Now, they didn't stick around towards just that north side of prison. Or, excuse me, the south side, but the kind of, I guess, higher ground. They're actually swinging a little further towards the western side. So maybe looking for that next springboard forward. Looking for maybe more information. Ability to scout a little bit deeper into this. Otherwise, your vision's completely occluded. As it stands, most teams in pretty decent space. Dannymon, he's not having a great day.
Looking to get the scraps, whatever he can, before wandering on and just holding out. Really, sustainability will be the name of the game for him. While the rest of them are pinned back, if they can get one onto Beamy, then maybe there's some opportunity to try and regroup with the rest of the team, because they are going to need it. They've got 3 players bearing down upon them, and the circle will be highly favorable to lose position. So VP now have to regroup, but that is an easier said than done job. Catching an unfortunate rock also doesn't make it any easier whatsoever. I'm intrigued to see if they can get back here. They are good at it, but it's like, how many do you lose on this transition getting there?
Hey, look, Perfectix is prone in the not very long grass, doing the best he can. T-Bone can't catch a break on the shots on the spray towards BatulinS. By the way, folks, if you aren't paying attention, have a look for the code. It's up on the screen. Grab it now. At this point, Heroic haven't been able to really capitalize on many of these kills, so maybe looking for that next way forward for themselves as well, not get too tunnel visioned on this. So that Liquid still pretty much prime position, I'd say, in here. Again, for VP, tougher to hold, but they do now have all their players at least, so they can kind of supplement that prior position they held. DA, long swing around the north, and it's not gone unnoticed. Vanir, Heroic, all very much keeping it in mind, and I think BBL are up to something very similar. A little bit further away, a couple of 100 meters off from them, but very similar rotation route, going to lead in towards Yasnaya and maybe use that as their pathway in. Beamy could do with another couple. Oh, just one more shot would have had it. Couldn't quite find it. Tags coming through, but now Beamy is the closest to this, and it's very easy to overwhelm him, so Beamy's got to be very careful with how he approaches this one. Plays it a little bit lower now, wants to make sure no one can just appear at the bottom of his building at this point, as NaVi kind of doing the opposite to DA, opposite side of the map, swinging from maybe the eastern side over towards the west. There is compounds over here, so they will be able to find home, and there's Dannymon going on his solo adventure.
I'd be okay with Beamy completely just disconnecting from that fight altogether and regrouping with the team. Take the opposing side of Pollyanna. Maybe even move closer, or as close as they can, towards T-Bone. It's made difficult to regroup with T-Bone because it's kind of like, you know, shoe on the other foot scenario. Great, you're in. You're at least alive for now. If they decide to go up high and make a push, which I don't think they can push on this anymore, I think the time's gone for it. You just have to sit and wait and see what happens with the next circle. Another place that's getting rather busy, and might as well call it now, eastern side. Mansion, 2 teams taking either side of it, but, excuse me, 3 teams taking either side of it. With Gear Up looking to try and get involved, unless Gear Up now just wants to full send and full commit. To be fair, any team could maybe have a go at that and have a crack at taking Team Liquid out. If they catch them in a 2-2 split, then there is a chance to pull it to the bottom side, unless you are mxey, unless you can deny it. This was what I was worried about. Getting to the foot of heaven is always viable, but continuing up further is always the problem.
ENCE can still see this. There's teams still towards east, but BBL on the other side, they had nowhere else to go. They have to send as well. So now, yes, Liquid are being at least tested. The castle walls are now being somewhat breached. Smash is there, but it's only Smash, and he can also be seen. DA, Heroic, VP, Vanir can all see this too. So yes, pulling up to this, playing that foot of the hill is viable when the circle allows you that little bit of safety as everyone's pushed forward into also less favorable scenarios. So this gets tricky. Both teams who went for that kind of, well, I'm going to live in the shadow of Liquid, are down to very few pieces. I think there's 2 for SMB right now. There may be 3 back up on their feet. No, it is just 2, excuse me. And then obviously 1, which is Smash. CodeMarco got caught way further back. Now, FaZe have been a little slow to leave this position. They've taken their time. I thought maybe they could have hit where NaVi have gone, pick up that side. Maybe they've got other plans in mind. This is what Smash has ended up with. Rock in a hard place. Haha, but I hate myself too, don't worry. But this is going to be the rest of his game, basically. He can't make a move after this. He's got some safety here. He's just to hope that no one is going to check that, clear that, throw a random nade towards it. Now, as much as the East is still an issue, the North is brewing away. Look at the state of this. Heroic coming down from Yasnaya. Vanir slowly working their way through. DA sitting kind of in the middle of this now as well. Page has to be careful. Perfectix just found Beamy and Heroic. No, they are in danger here. They are in a lot of danger because that's not even the close teams. VP are a little bit further back. They've got safety to play from. VP aren't in any danger. The teams around Heroic, like DA or like Vanir, will be more likely to want to fight this. ENCE have also pulled up here. Now, they are one of the last to leave the eastern side. So that's at least one bit of safety. They know that there's less likely of a chance that someone's going to be shooting behind us. Might get a little bit more of a, not a free pull-up, because there is still some danger. You can see Karks back there. You can see Godrilla back there, but they've got gear up to deal with it. Actually, it's Vanir coming right on in. ENCE were like, oh god, we thought we got the timing right. But Flame just comes flying in, gets Rustanmar, but the trade comes out. Squeaky's still alive. Tiikzu trying to do anything. This is madness. Absolute mayhem. As Kino still stands, and that's going to be the punish. Vanir try and pull up. There will be damage, and Liquid goes, yeah, you're looking vulnerable. We'll have a bit of that. Nades down, job done. It's cleaned up. Look at this.
Yeah, it's an absolute massacre. That's exactly what Liquid needed. Strike when the iron's hot, and away we go with the final nade that have been nailed and coughing for 2 teams simultaneously. That does make things a little bit easier now for SMB. It relieves some pressure. It gives them more of an approach that they can play off the back of, because they know that Liquid's really got only one way down from heaven. You're not going to running off the edge of the foothills. You'll fall down. You're going to be ramping this. You're going to be playing the soft
FaZe
side.
DA?
DA probably going for the same simultaneous position. There isn't too many places you can use here. And you have to make sure that you've been reading the land. You have to make sure you've been reading the teams. They've both gone for the same ditch. He's actually just completely collatting. PiXeL runs in, knocks 2. And gear up. Is currently geared down, to be fair. That is all kinds of mess. He just runs them both over at point blank, no problem. mxey into strike as well. If Liquid can take away any scalps at this distance, it really helps them late game, because they have to run that plateau. They have to run that open. And remember, Smash is laying against a rock. Smash has been known to be a solo player in the past. And once they've dealt with him, they then have to deal with SMB. If there was ever a player I just trusted in laying by a rock and staying silent, then striking at the perfect time and ruining someone's day, it'd be Smash.
Yep. And Ibby's just been caught off. Here we go. T-Bone, big punish, and we said it before. Heaven is great to hold until you have to leave it, right? Like that's always gonna be the biggest issue. When you have to ramp down from it, be it with vehicles, whatever you want to try and do, you are super visible. Everyone knows that you are sat there, and as soon as you step down, you're in danger. Now, they could play on the edge of this. They could play just on the outskirts of it, try and hold maybe Liquid in, get a couple of kills off the back, but they are also very open to VP, who have their own problems. However, Smash does get caught, so the snake has been found. He is now gone. The 3 for Liquid, Jeemzz, clib, mxey. Still, Jeemzz will have to move in, but that's fine. I think he's still just trying to clear that northeastern side, make sure no one's creeping up, which there is a player on that side, but they're not quite pushing yet. VP, I said they've got their own problems, and you can see it. It's just this vast open field, and on the other side is NaVi. But NaVi are getting some suppressing shots, so it's not a free bit of fire for them. They don't just get freedom to view as much as they want. VP still making this tricky for them. And as Perfectix and Spyro have kind of joined up towards each other, Loose just watching that hillside in case they peek out, and BatulinS, the last one to join up as well, going to take that bike over. And NaVi, after responding, kind of find something to do, because look who's watching. Page, patiently waiting, going to get at least 2 good shots. Needs a couple more, but he can't quite get that. And look at Jeemzz overwatching this potentially. That could be a good angle for Jeemzz if he can find a quick kill. If not, he has to get moving.
He's got on top of the building. It's a little bit scarce because it puts him out towards the blue and slows down his time, but I understand it. Heroic have swung around. They've used it as a stepping stone, but ultimately, where else can they go? This is the best point of contact for them, and as Liquid leaves, then that could be their downfall. Qwizzy holds a much deeper angle towards the side of the circle. Damage is well and truly in abundance for Team Liquid. They're at the mercy of Heroic constraining them and strangulating them of oxygen. Qwizzy could probably slow walk this against the circle and back build onto Liquid, sadly. Some small micro adjustments, but over by the west, you see your 2 big teams, the CIS boys up against one another. NaVi and VP thrown completely out into no man's land now. They can use the lay of the land to maybe garner some bullets into players and potentially even create a small gap they can slip themselves within. Face answers back as Aitzy does fall, so they'll be able to get the smokes and the revive. Quebtra and Thendalos last two standing here for Galacticos. Any grenades? Yes, indeed. I'm surprised they get a bit more forward, maybe build some smoke, shoot. You could actually work off the back of the drop, to be fair, and use that as a nade point. Speaking of nade point, run for your life. NaVi are fully sending and committing to the cause with a utility. Perfectix will be the first person to fall, but T-Bone is still here and still keeping track.
Liquid have moved.
Of all these teams.
I'm wondering if Heroic have kept track of Liquid, because Liquid just left Heaven, and I don't know if Heroic noted that. I'll be interested to see if they turn and have a little look towards it, because right now they are absolutely focused on VP. They have clear line of sight, as you've seen with T-Bone constantly pressuring them. Oh, the nade right to the lap of all three, basically. Spyro's alive, but barely. Gonna have to try and work on the meds. This is gonna be the dead man's cross, isn't it? He can't get away from this. I think he knows that now. BatulinS receives a headshot too. NaVi keeping all four alive, utilizing that high ground so well. Yes, they'll have eventually a bit of a problem on their hands once they have to make the cross, but could be worse. It could be VP in this situation. Spyro has now been found by T-Bone, and it's gonna be just BatulinS, except his fate down. VP gone. Pull up comes in. FaZe back to 3 standing. Fuzzface has been eliminated, removed from the pack, but just weakening the defenses of FaZe. Now DA starting to look a little interested. This is all okay. What's the best shot for us here? What's the best play? What's the best next step? Because now Jembty, there it is, does spot out Gustav. Good pickup and a really good timing to try and maybe pressure that issue. Take that space because it's very, very viable. Pixel's nade finds Aitzy, and NaVi starting to look towards SMB's position. Heroic and Liquid locked towards the north. This is FaZe under fire, and they're not looking so good here.
Pixel's just been fully sprinting it direct. While the other teams were shooting away, he's been bombing it towards FaZe Clan. The nades do the damage, and DA will clear this side. There's one more player down south, and ultimately they can control 50% of this map should they find him. Shots in the distance. Thendalos' position has definitely been noted. NaVi, this ridgeline is more than comfortable for them. If they can get a few shots on the side, that's a big old knock. On the side of Galacticos, they'll have to commit one player to the edge to go and try and get the revive if they want to keep him. Up towards the end game. Good old Leon just tickles him for all but a moment, but it will not come through. However, it slows down DA. But
it does, but I don't think they've got immediate
how
threats.
much control they have, Lauren, is ridiculous now. They have a good amount of land here.
They do, and everyone else is focused towards the north. NaVi is the biggest threat right now, and everyone is eyeing them up. That cross they're going to have to make, they're going to have to invest a lot of utility. As you can see, a tree, a rock, and a crate. It's not pretty and it ain't much. Whereas if you look at Liquid, Heroic, they are on the outskirts, but they need to deal with each other. An old clib. A careless leap, a little bit of a hop, and T-Bone's connection is perfect. He's going to just deliver bullet after bullet, and Heroic are now looking like they're coming alive, but it's about the win. We've always said this. I want to see more from them in that regard. Now NaVi look back at them. You stare into the depths, eventually he'll stare right back at you, and that's the biggest problem. NaVi are the creature in the depths, and they're finding their way forward. SMB have been removed. That was the first springboard point for NaVi if needed. The next on the chopping block, well, that'd be your Liquids, your Heroics potentially on the distance as DA keep their heads down just a little. If NaVi do turn attention their way, that's a different case. And I see vehicles, and if I'm NaVi, I'd probably be looking towards DA's side more than going into this absolute madness in the north.
It's not as if you can be proactive in the circle either, Lauren, just because it's so open. Like, all you're doing is playing off the land itself to keep as much soft cover as possible. Even a vehicle at this stage gives you some level of support and sustainability. I mean, Liquid is not out of it just yet, but my word, there is so little to play with. T-Bone's starting to work his way over, but ultimately, the second they move, the second they fall, there's a headshot that comes in from Liquid. Page is just like, well, I don't know what else I can do. I'm just going to go forward here. Jimbo sends them to the grave, and Clib will be on the resuscitation. So, Liquid do stay alive. Now, it all comes down to DA. You are the tipping point. Can you swing round behind NaVi and do some damage? Because if you can, this will be the good springboard for Liquid to try and move into a better position. NaVi's place is good, and it's got 4 players. Let's not take anything away from that.
Oh, NaVi should win this.
Should this circle yeet away from them, like, they have to do all the moving.
Yeah, but Rich, look how many smokes they've still got. 5 in the pocket
True.
of just example then. They have 4 players. They can always sacrifice one if needed. They have plenty to build off. Now, I want to see where the circle goes. I think it's going to be so defining of how this kind of wraps up here. Looking at how this kind of eventually closes in. Okay, Liquid are screwed.
That's not good.
It's not good. NaVi are okay. They can still work around. DA are somewhat safe, but as you can see on that map right there, all eyes go east. It's looking at Liquid because they have to make the moves. They can wrap either side. It does curve slightly down. There is a bit of a deflate they can use to try and get close to DA, but if you're DA, you're very aware of that.
NaVi, surprisingly, another team without a single win on the board last week. This will be a massive booster for them. There's a few opportunities that we saw come close, several second places. I think we had a third as well in there for good measure. But no win came at all across 12 matches. This could be the first, and then once again, it just keeps adding to that list of potential competitors. This is the absolute Kobe. 2 of them, and away we go. Beautiful stuff. Now, how does Liquid deal with this?
Mad pull-up to DA.
I mean, yeah, that's it, right?
So,
You've got to go for the drive-by. That's the only way to win it.
Are they going north?
Oh, God.
Liquid?
Oh, alya.
We don't,
oh, alya.
No, we don't do this.
Oh,
alya,
no,
an example. It's so easy for them.
Oh.
They absolutely mopped the floor with them on that. NaVi just made that look so simple. I promise you it's not. It's actually not that easy, but they are exceedingly talented. Now, DA, what do you got for us? This mismatch of players that has just caught everyone's eye. This concept they brought together is such a unique one. But you have NaVi on the other side, and that's a great tag from Jembty. They need more of that. Try and maybe take a player down, open up a chance for themselves, get it to a 3v3. DA still have a bit of territory to play with here, but you can see NaVi wants to start spreading over this side.
They're just restricting them to the circle. There's no angle left unchecked. Like, how can you move from this? The same can be said in terms of NaVi. While they do have a good leverage and a good amount of control and overwatch, they too will be moving with the blue. The smokes will now be committed. There's a vehicle there. That's a good start, though, from Vard.
That's
Looks
huge.
like the smokes are going down, so they'll try and go for the res. If they can commit with a follow-up nade, that's good. It's not perfect, but it's something. Vard's continuing to throw, continuing to push that way.
Oh, no, Qwizzy. Look at this angle. But he has to be so careful. He's a glass cannon right now. Vest is broken, no helmet, 1 smoke. NaVi have been in fights. Example is sitting pretty, but the rest of them have been in fights. Mellman's now moving up. They're trying to get alya either on his feet or trying to work around it, keep DA from the door, because they are looking for that opportunity. 11 kills for DA. And there it is. Alya's gone. Can they find Qwizzy? Have they noted that position? It didn't look like they had earlier. Now they will know. Qwizzy has put them on red alert, and that's a problem, because Qwizzy could be dead here. He's isolated and he's on his own. Vard looks for Mellman. Deep molly comes out. He's got 4 mollies. Vard is literally on fire right now, just setting them ablaze. Jembty's found Qwizzy, and here it is. This is where the problems begin. Everything that could have gone wrong might go wrong, but example still stands. Finds Vard, and now you've got PiXeL and Jembty. Vard, I don't know if it's recovery time. I think they are too aware of this with the flush, but it's Mellman now looking. Spots out one in the own. Mellman delivers towards PiXeL, and now it's just Jembty. He finds example. He can't convert the other, and NaVi